I suppose it's another possibility to move up the world ranking.
Do you approve of the fact that they restrict it to the top 50 plus the junior world champions?
I would like to see it as a normal World Cup, but I suppose it makes it that little bit more special, and then you get the 200 points. Oh, I thought there'd be someone. That was a beautiful recovery, but a broken pole.
Yeah, Sørøte of Norway goes down. He spins out, but somehow regains his feet, but definitely broke that left-hand pole. So he'll be hoping that the Norwegian coaches, of course they're there. And another broken pole. Rota goes from around. He was in 12th position all the way to the back of the field. We'll get another replay of that, no doubt. I don't think that's the last fall that we're going to see today. And Mike, look how it strings the athletes out.
Very technical. The second part of this course, by no means is it easy. And in the men's race, unlike the women, where we only had 4 really challenging up the front after, what, 3.5 kilometers, the men, we would expect, will stick together as a big pack, and therefore making those corners even more difficult.
Just looking for bib number 1, which has dropped away. Thomas Northug, it is, wearing 7, who's in second place at the moment behind Sergei Ustikov. Now, you should be able to pick Northug out from his double poling technique. I think he's just gone under the Kraft banner now, and on that far side of the track at the moment. So he's already let the leaders get some 50 meters clear.
Look at Yaparov at bib 35. I think I said yesterday I thought that Yaparov would be sent up to help Ledkov, but where is Ledkov?
Well, I think if you find Northug, you'll find Ledkov. There he is, tucked in right behind him. And also looking for Dario Colonia, and I think Colonia is there as well. So the 3 big names have decided to just match one another all the way through today. Does that mean that they could get caught out? Because Krok of Norway, he's only 43 seconds behind. Eirik Bransdal of Norway, 27 seconds behind, who's wearing bib number 2 and is right up. I think he's up there with the leaders. We'll try and pick him out. Here we go. We're going to get a full lineup. Yaparov, Sundby, Goldberg, the 1, 2, 3. Thomas Northug in 4th place at the moment. Helle Villig-Janin, Peterson, Jonsson, Halvorsen is there as well. Newell of USA, 13th position. Colonia goes through in 14. Well, Colonia has certainly made a bit of ground. 1:14, the margin that he needs to make up on Petter Northug.
I've just noticed, of course, that Patrick Johan Olsen, he was due to start, but I see that he hasn't made his way to the start line. So clearly that cold that he had, he hasn't fully recovered.
Yeah, that's a shame. I was looking forward to seeing Olsen race, of course, the 50-kilometer world champion. And I guess the locals here were thinking that maybe Johan could do it again today and lead from the front. Got to change it next year. The work rate has gone up around 25% since the start of this race. It's 15 kilometers, remember. The top 50 plus the junior world champions are here. Leading the way at the moment, Matti Häkkinen for Finland, who's a brilliant classic skier, Mike. And I know you saw him racing in Oslo in 2011.
Yeah, that's right. He's an unusual racer. Sometimes he can be so far off the form, he can be having a terrible season, but then all of a sudden his mindset is right, and you see a different athlete. And we saw that in Oslo, but he wasn't ranked highly at all, but of course winning the 15 Classic there. And yesterday, I thought he looked fantastic yesterday, and unfortunately he fell in the final 200 meters and lost 10 seconds. I think he could have won yesterday. He had the lead time at the top of the climb. Second rotation of the 3.3 kilometers.
Now, just trying to check if that's Dario Colonia who's made ground. The first 3.3 lap completed in 8:53. Number 36 is Chris Jespersen of Norway, who's done exceptionally well so far. 15, looking comfortable. Eldar Roning, who's a classic specialist, tucked in behind his teammate Martin Sundby, who's an outstanding skier, Sundby, and will certainly be hoping to improve his World Cup position.
That's Colonia in 7th position, Patrick, and now we are beginning to pace up for these sprints, the bonus seconds, should I say, coming up soon. So well done, Colonia. He's only in 7th place. Where's Northug? There's Northug in the middle.
Yeah, Northug some way off the pace at the moment, just 5 metres or so behind Lekov. Northug's looking very, very tired, Mike. I know he did most of the work on the downhill yesterday, but maybe that effort has cost him, and we've seen it time and time again where he gets to the latter stages of a tour and he starts to fade.
It's unusual because, yes, I know that what an athlete says is maybe not what they're actually thinking because others are listening, but when he said he wants to hoover up those bonus seconds, I believe that would be a strategy because then it makes it so much more comfortable for tomorrow. Well,
I wonder whether when he said, I'm hoping for some help from my brother, as we have a look at the standings at 4.7, they're getting close, around 5 kilometres that first interval for the points, the start of the final climb on this second loop. I'm wondering whether he said to his teammates, you get the bonus points, do not let Colonia in there, and then I can take lap number 2 very steady indeed.
I think you're onto something.
I'm pretty sure, and if anyone's going to do it, his brother will. But Thomas Northug, is he up there with the leaders? There are still 3 Norwegians there.
Yes, Sundby's there, Röning's there. We know that their turn of pace is amazing. I thought the Russians would be up. I thought Yaparov would be up front. In fact, Yaparov is.
Well, I think if that is the case, it says quite a lot for the Norwegian team and the fact that they're prepared to sacrifice their chances of winning just to keep Colonia out of the points. But that's going to be easier said than done because Colonia has moved up into second place just at the start of the climb.
But look at this, 3 reds, 3 red suits closing in fast. Colonia he's got the good inside line, Colonia. He needs to really burst up this hill.
Well, Colonia keeps the pressure on, moving up on the outside. Looks like Sundby who's making a move, and it is Sundby who's going to claim the 15 points. Any other Norwegian going to get in there? No. So 10 bonus seconds to Dario Colonia, and he narrows the gap by 10. So that makes it 1:04 as they go into the final climb on lap 2.
Now this is going to be a great race, Patrick. Look at the time. It's going to be over 15 seconds for Northug to come through. I know that the pace will slow down a little at the front. Is Northug struggling? I'm not sure he is. So
29 seconds effectively drawn back at the moment, which puts Dario Colonia within 50 seconds of Petter Northug. Now the World Cup, the overall World Cup will not be decided today, Mike. Lekov is 56 points behind Northug. Colonia is 69 off the lead. But because at the end of tomorrow, the winner of the mini tour gets 200 points, effectively, whichever one of them wins it, if one of them does win it, will take home the big prize as well.
And of course, 50 points at stake. There's the bonus seconds. But of course, there's 50 points at stake for the victory here today, and then 48 reducing.
Well, those are the points for the BMW Trophy, a BMW X-Drive on offer for a tournament that's been running all the way through the season. Petter Northug has won it. He can't be touched, only 50 points on offer today, and he's already clear from my calculations and should be collecting the keys tonight.
He should be, yeah, no, safe. He's got them, and of course his prize money is going up. Lekov was the highest earner in the men's field at 132,750, but of course Northug with his victories yesterday has just gone ahead of that now, so the second year in a row the biggest earner.
Yeah, Northug's done pretty well, but I think the drinks are on Justina Kowalczyk tomorrow night.
Oh, she could make it up to almost 300,000 if her progress tomorrow goes well. Unlikely, but you never know.
Well, you have to remember the racing started at the end of November, and she's won pretty much everything that Marit Bjørgen hasn't won. Those two have been totally dominant this year.
Well, what an athlete Colonia is, Patrick. He stated how tired he was last Saturday, a week today, and he was just on survival mode. He didn't have team support to help him. He staggered around that 50 kilometre. He hasn't been on great form in Drammen either, but he's back today. He's managing to get himself up to the front.
Well, the margin between Colonia and Northug now stands at around 110 metres, and that's significant. We've seen it a lot this season that Northug has dropped right off the pace. If you were Northug, would you risk that, or would you just make the effort to stay in the top 5, which is what Lekov usually tries to do?
He usually does, but look at that already. Northug on those descents and double poling sections, he's got himself right back into it again. Just 12 seconds.
No bonus points on this third lap. They will get bonus seconds on lap number 4, and then of course when they cross the line at the end of the 15 kilometers. So still a lot to play for, and if Dario Cologna can close the gap to something like 10-15 seconds at the end of today, we will have a cracking finale tomorrow.
Oh, we absolutely will. And think of the fatigue in the legs. Most of these athletes did the 50 kilometers at the World Champs, the 50 last weekend. They're all pretty tired. There's Northug coming up on the left-hand side in the yellow bib. He's still there. He's not going to let them get too far away.
Well, he's now making a move as the pace slows at the front, which is very sensible. He's obviously trying to save something for the latter stages of this race. I think maybe he's assessed that if he can cross the line in the top 3 at the end of today, he's in a very, very strong position. And when he takes a lead into the final day, which he has done before, he tends to work from the start. He doesn't play cat and mouse.
No, he makes sure he keeps hold of that safety margin. And there he is, he's back in the action, but he's putting a lot of effort in to pull this time back. He's just past Legkov. Legkov looks like he's struggling. So I'm just thinking, Patrick, that intense pace on lap 2, on fatigued legs, it might make, as we saw with Justina, they might drop off. The pace is pretty horrific up the front.
They will, and because it's on the steepest climb, there's a price to pay for going for those bonus seconds, and Cologna is better than most at surviving it. We've seen that time and time again on the Tour de Ski, but Mike, I think Northug doesn't, you know, he says he wanted to hoover up the points, but he doesn't want them. He doesn't want to expend the energy early on. What's important for him is to win the day, because of course if he wins today, he gets 50 World Cup points, and that will give him not only an advantage time-wise, but also extend if he can extend the lead to maybe 70 points at the start of tomorrow, he'll then only have to finish in the top 6 or 7 in tomorrow's race.
Job done. It is looking good for Northug to be the overall best or the World Cup total score athlete again.
But he makes it so interesting because he employs strategies that make us think, what is he playing at? And don't think he's just, he's just waiting to see how he feels. He's absolutely got the race plan laid out and decided what to do. And every interview he has before a race will try and send you down a different trail. It's just a red herring.
He's so exciting for the world of cross-country skiing. He's changed, he's turned things around.
Well, I wrote Jonsson off on lap 1. He's still here on lap number 3. Looking pretty good at the moment.
Looking excellent. I think Rickardson, 28, just in the background. Rickardson has shown so much in strength when it comes to classic skiing this season, and he's been 5th, he's been 7th, he's been up there. I wonder if he wants, clearly he wants the victory today on Swedish snow.
Everyone's skis seem to be gliding and gripping well. No one having major problems with the grip. And actually, Clister's quite an easy wax to prepare, provided the tracks are clean.
The tracks are, there's not much in the way of the pine needles or anything in the tracks to slow them down. But of course, you lose the Clister, even that grippy, sticky, horrible Clister. It comes off on the icy bends as the race unwinds or progresses.
Well, they're over the halfway marker. And as they make this first climb on lap number 3, the field is starting to be strung out. From the world's best 50 cross-country skiers up front, we're down to something like, what is it, 21, 22? And then a little gap back to number 14, which is Alexei Poltaranin, who I thought might well be going in for the win today. Doesn't look quite as fresh as he has done in the past.
I don't think his skis are working well at all at Poltaranin. There was something there in his technique. For me, he's the best classical skier in the field, but there was something missing there.
Tell you who else looks spent is Andrew Newell of USA. Newell was always going to do well in Stockholm and get himself off to a good start. Something we haven't discussed, Mike, that the format for this World Cup final has changed year after year. They changed the distances and the number of races involved. I think this year it's perfect. You need an out-and-out sprint in here to give the sprinters a chance. Otherwise, we wouldn't see Jonsson at this stage.
And of course, last year it was a distance, a larger distance race.